Good morning. Welcome back, everybody. It's day 15 of the 10,000 swing challenge, which means after I finish today, I should have just 5 more days, but because of that one day where I was sick, I only did 250. So that put me behind a day. I was going to try to have a day where I make it up. I'll probably do that. Just add that extra day and see how it goes. It's nice to have my Instagram friends here. Welcome, and remember, your questions make this a much more interesting time. And then for my friends on YouTube, I know it's not real time for you, but we'll do our best to welcome you. This is the 20-kilo bell. I use the 20-kilo bell because I'm 65. I recommend the 24 for most people. For most men, the 16 or 12 for most women, depending on your technique and what other factors. I'll be doing 500 swings. I'll be doing the up to variation, which means I'm going to go up to 500 swings, which means I'm going to do a lot of swings early or later and less sometimes. So there'll be some variation. I think there's value to that. I'm no longer doing the 14-day Rusty More Fat Loss Boost. I started eating more normal yesterday. Interesting is that yesterday, I tell you, not having eggs in 2 weeks was interesting because, man, they tasted so good. But like I tell most people, the reason I like to do these diets and these fasts and these little 1-2 week things is that afterwards, 2 eggs taste wonderful, and it's not 10 eggs. I don't know. It's just, I tend to remind myself about moderation. So that's why I think that there is value to an annual nutritional thing. So my dog's going to be in the way the whole time again because that's what he does. And let's get started with some swings. They're not the best swings in the world. I'm certainly not as good as those people online who tell me how good their swings are, but then never actually share any videos of them with their swings. So that's sarcasm. For those who've been following along, you know I'm getting over COVID, the Omicron variation, and it's been. I thought yesterday how it was behind me, and then some other. So this is feeling better, but yesterday this was the issue. But I am feeling better. I'm sleeping well. I'm sleeping about 14 hours a day there for a while. Thank you. Well, we have a fan from Mexico this morning, and my hamstrings are looking good. Thank you. Yeah, when I go to the beach, I like to wear my thongs to show off my hamstring. And so we got people from India, we got people from Mexico today. That's great. Somebody's asking about a strength cardio thing in a week. Yeah, that's any plan is good. Weekly, monthly, yearly, any plan. And they all work. The key is doing it, of course. Yeah, so the swings tend to loosen up all of my cough, which is just great. Good morning. So, we got India, Sweden, Mexico. I know a few others from here and there. Welcome aboard this morning. Just remember, for those of you who are writing elaborate questions, it's just real hard for me to read them and then get back in front of this microphone so that we can share them with the YouTube people. So somebody wrote a 25-page question. I'll read it when I get a chance. Well, good morning. Good morning. Hi, Mahan. Somebody asked about my forearms. Yeah, every year the first week I do this, I almost feel like whatever this little part of the belly of the forearm is, it's if you make a muscle, and then you do the bodybuilder thing. So you make the fist and then you bring it here, that little thing there, that just starts to really, I always feel like it's almost ripping it off the bone. That's how it feels on like days 3, 4, 5. But by the time we get to the second and third week, I don't even notice anymore. So that's one of the great things about kettlebell swings, is it does build up that weird. All right. We'll investigate that later. Good stuff. Excellent. Oh, struggling a little bit this morning. Yeah, thank you. Hang on just a second. So, for those of you on YouTube, it might not be as relevant, but this in American football was a wild card weekend. So that's always a huge weekend. It's fascinating to watch. If you get a chance, yesterday Dallas lost in a really weird way, which happens. But some of the fans threw stuff on the field, and I listened to the comment, but a lot of people are angry with this guy named Dak Prescott for not. The Dallas fans, being from Dallas, they threw a bunch of stuff on the field. The referees, according to everybody, did exactly what was supposed to happen, and then they started throwing stuff, and the quarterback, you know, the correct thing to say, when fans do something wrong is there's two parts. First, you always note that the bulk of the fans are ladies and gentlemen and wonderful people, supportive. This is important to them. And then there's just a few oddballs who ruin things for everybody. So, yeah. All right. Oh. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough when fans do things because it reflects on the whole. The team has to deal with what the fans are doing. It's tough, you know. My friend Tim Carr has a sign that says something along the lines of, the person who can play every position, who never misses a call, who knows everything about the sport in and out, can't be on our sidelines today because they're up in the stands drinking a Coke and eating popcorn. I always thought that was funny because, you know, I listen to the fans. Because everything in sports, at some level, is pretty simple, you know. You know, but it's always fascinating when you have to do it in real time. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here today. Yeah, it's always tough when people are when the fans do strange things. Most of the time, the fans are pretty good. Remember years ago, Sports Illustrated did this thing, uh, the worst fans in college, and they had the worst was the number one was Brigham Young University, and it's funny because down there it's a religious school, you know, but the fans are, and it's like it's strange. Maybe when you're wrapped up 6 days a week, 6.5 days a week, you know, bound up by this and this and that, maybe going to a game is which rips everything off of you. I mean, I've had some weird fan experiences. I mean, nothing bad. I was at the Rose Bowl sitting next to Ohio State fans, and I thought they were really, you know, nice guys. I sat next to Michigan fans. I thought they were really nice guys. But if you sit a Michigan fan next to an Ohio State fan, things go crazy, don't they? No. Thanks, Larry. I get it now. In fact, I'll probably have to cut. I'm gonna probably have to ask Brian to cut that out. But I will do what I can. Okay, give me just a second. So, congestion is a funny thing. When you do kettlebell swings, you drive the congestion gets driven kind of away from you. But if you ever work with a discus thrower, shot putter, hammer thrower, Highland Games, or during allergy season, as you hit the throws, of course, all that mucus not only goes out of your head, it then gets caught up in all the forces of circular motion. So that's just disgusting. I don't know what you mean by limited range of motion. Kettlebell with how? I don't know what do you mean by that. The motion should be plank to hinge, and that should be it. What am I doing wrong? Are you saying I'm not hinging right? I need to know. I mean, if you don't think I'm hinging right, I feel my hamstring stretch in every single rep, because that's my hinge right there. That's it. Anything more than that would be a squat for me. But tell me what's wrong. I want to know. Kettlebells with how? Seriously, I want to know. Okay. Okay, let's keep cracking them out. Whew. Probably be Olympic lifting here today too. I feel much better. At the top of every swing, it's important that you hit the ab wall. That's it. Okay, a couple questions here. Anybody? Okay. So, a whole bunch of questions jump in. First, somebody talks about the American swing. No one does that. So, should I train every day? Just read your book. They don't translate very well. Yeah, I know. Why is flossing so important? Flossing the teeth? Oh, yeah. That's some research from a while ago. What they began to notice, and it's actually kind of, it's not necessarily research, but it's one of those wonderful things where there was a cool cause and effect. So, in the old folks' home, retirement homes, where I belong, what they began to notice was interesting is that after somebody lost their final tooth, okay, not long after they lost their last tooth, all of a sudden all their blood profiles got better. And somebody just made the simple point is you lose your teeth because of bacteria or whatever bad mouth stuff. But once the teeth go, the bad bacteria, whatever, also goes. But remember, every time your heart pumps, if you have an ear infection every time your heart pumps, all that stuff goes throughout, basically throughout the whole body. So if you have an ear infection, you're also essentially, you got a toe infection, if you follow my point. Is that because your cardiovascular system is, pumping all this stuff around constantly, that you can't have a localized infection. Yes, obviously you have a localized infection. Well, the argument was this, the point was this, is that every time your heart beats, boom, is that these minor or major infections here end up going to the heart. And over time, infection is infection is infection, and they believed it was damaging the heart. So they started really emphasizing flossing, and they found that there was this bizarre little relationship between flossing and heart health. And the relationship was, the more you flossed, this is an aggregate of numbers, the healthier your heart was. And so dental hygiene is a massive component of cardiovascular health. Okay, so that's why. Should you train every day? I definitely think you should train every day. And I'm still struggling with kind of understanding with kettlebell, with how, I just don't understand what your point is. Kettlebells for how? That's my hinge. That's it. What else do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? Because if I bend my knees more, it becomes a squat. I'm serious. Your name has kettlebells in it. I mean, for God's sakes, your name has kettlebell in it. Either that was a fluke of life by your children or your parents. Hey, good morning, Coach. Okay, let's get back to these. I mean, it's fine to criticize or to point out, but you have to then have, what do I always say? Anybody can find problems. I look for people who find solutions. Interesting, if you watch some of the NFL stuff this morning, they showed over and over a guy, a former Arizona Cardinal, Larry Fitzgerald. Maybe he's not former, but Fitzgerald understood the end of the game better than anybody. And they showed a series of him. He would grab the ball from his own teammates at the end of a play and run it over to the official, hand it to the official, because that's what the rules are. Hey, good morning. Good to see you. Well, let's keep going. Good. We'll be getting over halfway here pretty soon. I feel miles better than I did the other day. I'm 65. 65. And good morning to you. Here we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Someone thanking me for the content I put out. But, we do have people who don't like the content I put out. According to one person today, I have the worst content ever. And they had to put a period after each one of them. But thank you. Thank you. I got to tell you, folks, I do feel so much better. Since I started this thing, and what did I say today is? Day 15, I have felt terrible all 15 days. There was, my kids came down positive with COVID right when we started this. But I wasn't. It's like, for those who've ever been, it's like when you get the flu. My mom's my mom used to tell us this when I was kids. If you get a cold and you do nothing, it lasts 2 weeks. But if you get a cold and you do something, it lasts 14 days. And I've always, I always kind of thought there was some wisdom there somehow. Uh, Sometimes there's just nothing you can do except. How many reps am I Judd load this morning or long term? So as of this last set, that was 235 reps today, and that would put us over. Actually, on this next round, I go over 7,000 total on this next set. So thanks for asking. And remember, those of you on Instagram, we have all of them on YouTube, and the nice thing for the YouTube listeners is that the people on Instagram will ask questions, and that'll keep things kind of going. But again, I'm still waiting on kettlebells for Hal. I really am interested in what you're trying to say with my hinge. If there's something I need to know, and let me know. In the kettlebell world, we're supposed to be extremely. We're supposed to act. We all agree to it. We all sign on to it. It's number 6 on our rules of conduct. You'll act like ladies and gentlemen in public, and so if there is an issue, let me know and I'll fix it. Don't just write sloppy or something like that, because any idiot can write down sloppy. But if you see as many swings as I do in a typical week, your concept of a bad swing will change radically. All right, let's get over halfway. Yeah, we have a good question here. So, as many of you know, I did Rusty Moore, or Visual Impacts Fat Loss Boost. So, in the 14 days on the scale, I lost 6 pounds, which really wasn't what I thought it would be. I thought I could lose more. But the reason I didn't lose more weight makes sense. First off, I'm doing way too many swings. The workouts have been too hard. So my body is, I don't think you can do a hard diet and a fairly hard training program at the same time. You can, for short periods, once a year, once every 4 years, something like that. So problem number 1 was the swings. But the second problem is something that took me a few days to figure out. Because of Omicron or COVID or whatever I have, I've been quarantined. So I've been not taking the walks I normally take. And I know it sounds weird, but almost universally, I always swing, walk, Olympic lift, then walk. But after these swings, I've been basically just going, and laying down for a while, because I don't feel very good. So I think that was thank you so much. Yeah. So I think the high swing volume. Now, in this week's Wandering Weights, I talk about it. I don't care if I do something short, like a 2-week hard diet and exercise thing. I don't worry about the results for those 2 weeks. I'm more interested in what happens 2 months from now. So for me, what I get, like for example, I guess a good way to say it, if you understand the snowball metaphor, is that the fat loss boost and the 10,000 swings was a snowball rolling down the hill in the first 2 weeks of January. Well, that's going to give me, and literally, the phrase we used to use was metabolic momentum. Is once you start turning in a direction with your body, the body starts going with you. That's why when you first retire from a sport, the first week, 2 weeks after, you probably still play at the highest level. 2 months later, you probably are only days away from being at the highest level. You could even say 2 years later. But those little, those extra desserts, those extra beers, those extra things, the missing this, the missing that, very often when you work with a retired athlete, not all, there are some exceptions. It's very often they look very soft, it's even more different than just being obese or heavy. There's a softness about their bodies after they retire, because I figure is that you were going this way so hard, and then when you pivoted, you got yourself a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, maybe even 2 years, and then the body said, "Oh, we're not doing it anymore," and you soften down. So I try to use that technique in the opposite every January. Every January, I try to do the 10,000 swing challenge and some kind of nutritional intervention. This year's was more serious than most. Last year, I quit drinking. This year, I just ate chicken and vegetables. So, ideally, in 2 months, the momentum will keep going. In 2 years, I'll still have the momentum going in the positive, if that makes sense. Your mileage may vary, and maybe I'm a case of just one here. All right, let's get over 300. If you're a Pat Flinner, you'll be stepping out after this set. Oh, phew. Okay. Good questions, and thank you for that. You're coming in later, but yeah, I'm down. So, doing the 10,000 swings and the fat loss boost, I'm down 6 pounds. But I don't know what those 6 pounds mean. It could simply be water weight. It could be, who knows? Dustin, I answer this question literally every day. So, the best way to learn to swing, I think, is get a rope or a stretchy band here, and then you grab it like this, and you pull it down as hard as you can. You'll notice that when I pull it down, my ab wall contracted, my glutes contracted at max, my quads contracted. That's as high as a kettlebell swing should be, if you know what you're doing. Now, if you don't, like the one person who sent me the email the other day about their back hurting, and every single rep was done with soft knees and leaning back like this, and they said that swings were hurting their back. I was like, it's not swings, it's your technique. I don't really understand that question, Andre. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, it's going well today. Oh, sure. Yes, push down with your hands. Yeah, these are questions I've answered before many times. Yeah, so I actually pull a swing down. I don't just float it. I actively grab it and pull it down. So to me, when people ask me about that's why I'm such a big fan of the ab wheel. You know, the ab wheel is what you're doing when you pull it down. Yeah, I've done B swings a million times. Yeah, not a million. That's exaggeration. 900,000 times. Yeah, B swings are fine. The problem is when you're doing the 10,000 swing challenge, especially you have real no need to do it. Like some people I know, doing the beast is going to do. It's just going to take so long. I mean, if I can, that'd be 50 sets of 10 probably for me in the workout. Hell, we'd be here forever. Yeah, that would be long. Today's Monday. It's also today here in the United States, Martin Luther King Day. Thank you, Dr. King. But it's also an Olympic lifting day for me. So I'll finish this. I'll sit around for an hour going, what are you thinking? And then get some snacks and penny jerks in. Yeah, for those of you who have questions, join up Dan John University. We go through all this stuff. Right now, it's only a few more days, but new year, one word, gives you a massive discount. Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah. What's your recommendation? So, person asks us, what's your recommendation on squeezing the glutes? So, you have to. So, but here's the deal. Don't try to think of it. Get the rope or in fact, you don't even, I'm sure you could even do with just the wall, if anything, you can do it with the chair, in fact, I teach this, just slap your hands together, squeeze your hands together as tight as you can. You'll notice your glutes start to engage. It's the squeezing of the ab wall that makes the glutes go. Kettlebells and knitting, K-N-I-T. Knit, the word, where the word fit comes from, is from knit. Every kettlebell exercise knits, but that's why I like the thing I call the armor building complex. That's 2 double cleans, a double press, 3 front squats. Put the weight down, recover, and repeat. To me, that's the one that does it the best. That's me. Well, good, Kevin. Good, I'm glad. Good. All right, let's keep going. Yeah. Oh, we're going to sneak up. In the next 2 sets, we'll get over 400, and we'll almost be done. That'd be great. That can't be right, is it? Wow. Geez, a little ranting, it really helps me. Oh. 380, huh? Be right back. Okay, more questions. Yeah. Oh, come on. Yes, he did. Uh, it's interesting. I'm getting a couple of those questions that are the hardest for me to answer. You are literally watching me in real time. So when somebody asks, how long do you rest uh, between sets, I'm always like, you're watching it. You know? You're watching it. So, you know. Can swings replace traditional morning fasted cardio? I mean, I don't know. I've been told that fasted morning cardio does nothing for you. And then, of course, I've been told by others it's the greatest thing ever. I don't know. I'm doing these fasted. Uh, I'm reading a book right now that says we shouldn't call it intermittent fasting. We should call it time restricted eating. And I thought to myself, and the difference is what? You know? The difference is what? So with intermittent fasting, I fast for 16 hours and then I eat for 8. But with time restricted, you misunderstand it. I eat for 8, then I fast for 16. They're completely different concepts. Yeah, I was at a workshop one time, and a famous fitness guru really launched on fasted cardio, and I thought, yeah, I get it, but a lot of people have had a lot of success with those long morning, those easy bike or walks. I'd rather you walked. And when you walk, especially if you live in the southern part of the United States, carry a trash bag and clean up the litter on the side of the sidewalks. Thank you very much. All right, let's. Okay, so on this one, we'll get over 400 for sure, and then we'll land this plane and we'll come back again tomorrow. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. I got a fair amount of garbage in my chest today. Yeah, that's actually yeah. There's it's funny, there's an old Star Trek episode. Frank Gershwin is in it, where one guy's half black on this side and half white on this side, and the other guy's half black on this side and half white on the other. And they have to fight each other forever. It's yeah. I'm sorry, excuse me. Yeah, I live in the real world, so I get COVID and I get water damage like we had there last year. And last week I had to clean up my dog's diarrhea every day. Had a sick baby last week, had a sick grandpa. So when I do things like cough and sneeze and stuff, that's because that's what happens in real life. I'm not perfect like some people online. It's been a delight doing this again. I struggle with this, as many of you know. These, this person saying negative things to me on Instagram earlier, and it's just hard. I mean, you get something like that, and why would you roll out of bed, because he's in California at whatever time it must be, just after 6 to make a negative comment. What kind of pathetic life do you have? That the highlight of your day is making fun of the way a 65-year-old man does kettlebell swings. I mean, got no issue with it. But, of course, when that 65-year-old man shows up to your front door, I'm joking, I wouldn't. All right, let's get back to swings. Okay. I've been reading a lot lately. Good morning. Thank you. Reading a new book recommended to me by Paul Lysingo. It's called Bumpers by Nick N.I.C. Noke Peterson. And it's funny, if you look at the comments on Amazon, people get on it for proofreading. But he says right there in the beginning that it was just something he'd whipped together, and his clients started making copies. So he decided not to proofread it because this is what was changing lives. So it's funny, right there, the author's saying why it's not been proofread, and yet the comments are, well, it's not proofread. But I like it. Bumpers, you put these, yeah, the game of work is very similar, and it used to be right there, and of course, there it is, yeah. The game of work is very similar by Charles Coonrad, the game of work, where in this book, he calls it out of bounds. But bumpers is the idea that no matter how much you're offered, you might not take $500,000 more. If your bumper is, I go home at 5 o'clock to have dinner with my kids, 4:30, there's a bumper there at 4:30, and no matter how much money you offer me, I won't do it. I just thought it was pretty good. I like the idea. Oh boy, that's a big question. I'm starting to squat again and implementing into my program 10 by 10 kettlebell swings with a 40-kilo bell and a 20-kilo one-handed. Should I also deadlift or give it a break? Well, that's the million-dollar question. I have found that it is tough for me to chase hinge and squat numbers at the same time. For me, I'm born to hinge, so hinging is easier for me. But when I ran my squat numbers up, it really just impacted my ability to kind of recover. Having said that, if you're doing light swings and practicing your squat, I see no problem with it. It's going to be an experiment of one. In the book I'm writing now, I talk about people who are hinge people, and I talk about people who are squat people. And I mean, if you have an author like myself, Pavel is another guy who's a hinger. We tend to say, okay, like in my case, the Olympic lifts, the answer to all questions. He's like kettlebell swings, the answer to all questions. And then you talk to a person who's born to squat, and their answer is front squats, back squats, So for me, I can hinge. Like, for example, after this, I'll rest an hour and I'll go Olympic lift, and I'm fine. But if I was to do the 10,000 goblet squat challenge, which we tried one time, stupidest thing ever did. Actually, this is something we actually do. In the original template, to answer that question, we did do swing, and then, so let me just see if I can remember this. I might not get it right. If I apologize if I get it wrong. You do a set of 10 swings, 1 ab wheel, set of 15 swings, 2 ab wheels, set of 25 swings, 3 ab wheel, 50 swings, no ab wheel, and you repeated that 5 times on whatever day it was, like Thursday or something like that. And then the others was one day that I think we did, we did press, the 1, 2, 3, none. Goblet squat, 1, 2, 3, none. Pull up, which was really harder than you think. You bet. Whatever that muscle is, that's the one that just gets tagged for us doing all this, because you're gripping here and then you're gripping here, that just gets beat up. I actually had someone tell me that they pulled that muscle. And there would have to be a terrible injury, because how much you use. Maybe you don't do this all day, but I mean all day long you're doing stuff like this. I've always noticed when I get injuries, it seems like the universe. Like if you break your wrist, you'll discover how often you bump your wrist into things. If you break your nose, you'll notice how often you touch it. Oh, okay. Let's get in a place where we only have 2 more swings. Okay, 2 more sets. I'm sorry. Okay, 1 to go. 1 to go. Nice day today. Good workout. So we got 1 more set, and then we'll be done. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 16. If I feel better today, I might come in and catch those other 250. Otherwise, I'll try to do it tomorrow. I'll do it for YouTube. I'm thinking, because of the negative comments on Instagram, maybe I need to stop the Instagram live. I'm going to contact this person, and then but it upset me. And sadly, those comments were meant to hurt. And I guess it's just something I don't need, especially today on Martin Luther King Day. I still agree that that we measure people by the depth of their character, not by any other factor. Yeah, so well. Some guy came in earlier and said something negative. He said they made mean comments about me. So listen, gentle listener, we got 1 round left, and then we'll meet again tomorrow. Remember, I start at 7 o'clock Mountain Time here in Utah. I don't know what time it is in your area, but if you can't make it, remember we got the YouTube channel here, and it's always welcome. Okay. Are you from Rhode Island? Is that what that means? All right. Wow. This guy picked up the name Reps for his Instagram handle. That's pretty good. If you have a weightlifting blog and your name is Sets and Reps, that's pretty good. Yeah. Evening. Good for you. Am I still connected with Pavel? Yeah. In fact, we're doing a very interesting thing with the reboot on that book, and I'll give you details soon. Is that okay? All right. Let's finish this off. We'll call it a day. Well, there you go. Day 15 in the books. Thank you so much for being here. Gentle watchers on YouTube. I'm Dan John. Remember, if you have questions, podcast at danjohnuniversity.com. I'll do my best to answer each and every one. Thank you. And a reminder, Dan John University, I don't know if it'll still be available when this comes out, but if you use the word New Year, one word, New Year, we got that big discount for the site, and of course, the goal course, not goal setting, the goal achievement course is only 15 bucks, and I think it's pretty good. So, hey, my best to you, and remember, until next time, let's all keep on lifting and learning, okay? Thank you. Nice.